Welcome back to Vanguard Gamers. We've got Kurote here, Dane's filming. We've got my favorite deck of all time, True Ultimate Dimensional Robo Great Daikaiser.
True Justice.
True Justice. I've played this many weekly tournaments. I've won many times, lost only a few. This deck is strong, as Bermuda King calls it, nightmare fuel. I'll get to the deck right now. So, for grade 3s, starting off strong with the best break rod of the game. Super Dimensional Robo Daikaiser. Gains 2k when attacking a Vanguard. That isn't the biggest concern you have with him. When you break ride on Daikaiser, you gain 10,000 power, a critical, and your drive checks enable, if you get a grade 3, you can break any one guardian they guard with, including perfect guards. So, this deck already is painful to be hit by. One perfect guard may not save you. So, 4 of these for sure. For this reason alone, this deck runs 12 grade 3s. 12. The next card to show you, the main card of this deck, True Ultimate Dimensional Robo Great Daikaiser. He legions with Ultimate Dimensional Robo Great Dayusha. His skill is, during your turn, if you are in Legion, and your number of cards of D-Robo in the soul of 3 or more, you get a constant +1 critical. Second skill, if you drive check a grade 3, and your Legion mate has a +1 critical, or has a, yes, +1 critical 2 or more, I can counterblast 1 to retire another Guardian. So, this can retire 2 perfect guards if I get 1 grade 3 check. For this reason alone, you run 12 grade 3s. You want to maximize your drive checks having either triggers or grade 3s. Huge pressure on your opponent. On break ride turn, if you're a Legion, you do 33 damage with 3 critical. It's almost perfect guard or nothing. This is a big endgame of people. So, my favorite card.
A perfect guard, you nullify. GG.
GG. It's no comeback from that. Playset of Ultimate Dimensional Robo Great Dayusha. Now, this card is fantastic for several reasons. It's Legion mate, so you're constant 22k Legion. Its skill is, if you have 3 or more Robos in the Soul, limit break, you get constant plus 2,000 and a critical. So while in Legion, the critical doesn't actually increase your damage, but it does activate your Legion skill. Also, if you happen to have normal Dayusha in the Soul, it gains plus 2k. It has the old Lord skill. If you don't have a Dimension Police Vanguard or Rear Guard, you lose 2k, but you will always have full field. Don't worry.
This ain't Extreme Fight.
Yeah. So, this card's biggest useful aspect actually lies in the fact that when it comes to people who refuse to get to grade 3 or keep you at the grade 2 rush, it's a hard counter. If you have the Limbrick Enabler, you break right onto Great Dayusha, it's 3 critical, and they have to use their hands to guard. So it's a very good ride if your opponent is playing the grade 2 game, good Limbrick backup. Otherwise, you want to run the Daikaisers first. You want to. But it's very good once again for the card for a playset. Now, because this deck has 12 grade 3s, the actual lineup for the grades is kind of wonky. I understand that. But it works out in the end. The grade 2s, Dimensional Robo Dijet. Support from the Comic War Extra Booster. This card is just fantastic. 9k body, D-Robo in the name, which is good for the soul. Generation Break 1. Once per turn, you can take a grade 3 card from your drop zone, back into your deck and shuffle it. And your Vanguard gains 4,000 power, and if the Vanguard attack hits, Counterblast 1, draw a card. This deck is not Counterblast heavy at all if you don't factor in Die Earth. So, this card is very good to get draw power going. The fact that you're constantly bringing grade 3s back into your deck, you may have used for perfect guard fodder or stride fodder. Get them back into your deck, use them as triggers. It's fantastic. The second grade 2 rather, the second grade 2, playset of Dimensional Robo Die Dragon. 12k beater if you have Die Robo in the name, it's good. Now, cool fact about this card, actually, it matches with Daigen. Almost like a Grade 2 Legion. Obviously, the new cards from the Cosmic War booster had people idolizing the old artwork and wanted to combine them a little bit better. So, you've got Daidragon, Daigen. 8 Grade 2s. So, if you have to remodel again, get those Grade 2s in your hand. You have to ride those. Now, for Grade 1s, play set of Cosmic Hero Vanguard. This deck isn't too Counterblast heavy, but it can be. If you use Die-Earth, you risk losing Counterblast for the Legion skill. You also lose D-Robo in the name for the Perfect Guards. If you feel like you want to risk the Die-Earth cost, play Die Shield. I just feel like the extra Counterblast on flipping is useful. Not for everyone. I do recommend play to what you cater to, play to what you feel like is better for you. So I'd say up in the air, Cosmic Hero or Die Shield, both good choices. But no Quintet Walls. That cannot use Quintet Walls. Now, the best card in all of Dimension, please. Our Lord and Savior, Commander Laurel. 3 copies.
Most broken card.
Most broken card. Skill on the rearguard circle. If your Vanguard's attack hits anything, if it hits a rearguard or a Vanguard, you rest 4 units and stand it. This wasn't a problem before the extra booster, and then things got nasty with Stride. So, this card is fantastic to have on the rearguard. You must never ride this card under any circumstances. If you ride this card, more than half the time you will lose. You are telling the opponent, please rush me. Put down a draw trigger and hit me with it. Ridiculous. 3 is a good balance. You won't ride it very often, and it's a must-have. Imagine break riding with True Daikaiser on break ride turn, 33k and a crit. And if you hit them, and if they survive somehow, you stand them up all over again. Even worse, if they're playing the new Perfect Guards that can only protect Vanguard, you can play Overlord style and attack the rear guard first. Restand, attack the Vanguard. Either way, you're plussing more cards in your hand. There's no downside not to use him. Always have him behind Daidragon. 4 plus 12, a 16k column. You ideally want to have this column going at one time. It's important. So, those are Laurels. Restand will always restand. More love from the extra booster. Dimensional Robo Die Lion. Not much to say. Limit Break Enabler. Really useful now that Daikaiser doesn't require a lot of Counterblast. Also useful for break riding onto Great Dayusha early on in the games. Fantastic card, like the artwork. He even pairs up with the 12k, 10k attacker. We'll play 2 Die Tigers. And much like Daigen and Daidragon, they kind of match. They're kind of facing each other here. So, these are grade 1s. We'll move to the starting Vanguard. I play Dimagnum. Dimagnum is simple enough. Put into Soul, gain 4k. The reason you play me is because if you ride the Perfect Guard or, God forbid, Laurel, you should never ride Laurel. Can't say this enough. Don't ride Laurel. You need to have 3 Robos in the Soul to use your Legion skill. For Dayusha's skill. Without 3 Robos, you have to rewrite either another break ride or you're in trouble. So he's very simple. No generation break, just toss into Soul, fill the Soul. I used to run Die Shoot, the generation break version of this card with Die Barrett, but you risk getting retired, locked, you risk things happening to him early on. So by second turn, you could just pop him into Soul, be happy about that. Now, we'll go for the Stride units. So, what deck would Dimensional Rebels be with on Stride? They need a pair of... Here's the handful. 99th Gen Dimensional Rebel Commander Great Die-Earth. Trivia fact, this is the longest name in all of Vanguard. The longest. So his skill is as follows. Counterblast 2. That hurts. And some copy of Die Earth in your G zone. If you have a D-Robo in the Heartening, which you will, in this deck you always will, you look for any one grade 3 and grade 2 card and slap them onto rear. So if you wanted a Die-Jet, you get a Die-Jet. Grab your Daiushas and put them in rear guards. So your opponent will swing at it, it will go to drop zone. Now the problem with this card is, if you have 2 D-Robo in the G zone face up, it would gain a crit. Which means you have to try this card twice, but we're not going for the crit here. This card exists for the filling of the field. If you have empty field, fill it up for 2 counterblast. Heavy cost, but this deck doesn't use much in the first place. So just 2, that's it. We'll be running 3 Super Cosmic Hero X Tiger. I feel like 4 actually is a little too much. It's a situational card. What it does when you attack, you want to flip any copy you want from the G zone, any card you want. It could be X Falcon, X Rogue, Die Earth, for any reason you wanted to put it there. But it will gain how much? 4,000? Yes. 4,000 for each card in the G zone, and if it's 45k or more when attacking, gains a crit. So it's kind of like Blizza. 1k less, but it gains a crit.
I'm not sure if you're aware of the controversy with this card, but apparently in Japan, they don't allow triggers to go towards the 45, but in America, they allow the triggers to go towards 45.
Yeah,
it's really weird.
The North American Bushiroad rules are kind of wonky at best. There's no restriction on Laurel or Cat Butler, and I don't want it to be a low restriction, but there is in Japan. But 3 of this card. 4 could be good if you want it to be using. I run a pair of Super Cosmic Hero X Rogue. Good card. If you have Die-Jet out, use Die-Jet skill to power him up. If he hits, and his power is 37k or greater, you draw a card and retire a rear guard for free. No cost, just draw and retire. It's good for setting up your hand size. Nice card.
Oh my god, yes.
The last G unit is situational at best. Mostly because I'm missing an X Tiger. When X Falcon hits, and his power is 45 or greater, counterblast 2, take your opponent's rear guard and just slide into the damage zone. That can be 6 damage for them. Problem is, high cost, high power requirement. You'd have to have 2 Die-Jets out to power him up and keep it going. It is possible.
Good thing about him is when it hits, you pay the cost, not before it hits.
Yeah, if it were before you pay the cost, I wouldn't even look at him. I would probably just remove the card from all my decks and never touch him again. But
at least it's on hit.
Once you reach the power and you hit, you can choose to do the skill. So it's nice. So that is the deck profile for True Daikaiser. His skills lie in heavy Vanguard attacks, freestand with Laurel. This is probably my most defining deck. This is the deck that I have the most fun with. Even though I've lost with it, I played it during regionals, or not regionals, qualifiers. I played this for world qualifiers, and I did pretty well. I didn't trust myself with the Legion skill, and I foolishly strode, and they perfect guard, and I could have knocked him out with perfect guard. So don't take his skill for granted. Only stride if you really need to. In this deck, he is the power. He is danger. He is sheer nightmare fuel. This is Kiro from Family of Gamers. My next deck profile will likely be Metalborg Sinbuster with Break Ride support. So, if you have any questions or comments, please leave them below, and we'll see you next time.